It's time for Talking Shit. Good morning, everybody. Hi, I'm DeAndre. Welcome to another special edition of Talking Shit and the commentary. We have some stuff going on. GP is editing a video that we shot with our friend Corey, who's a scientist. We call him Weird Science. He is a very, very bright man, and he's on a show. Yesterday we taped with him on Thanksgiving at our Thanksgiving get together, and it was really, really beautiful. I wanted to rant a little bit about this thing called Black Friday. I'm appalled at it. The Black Lives Matter movement held several protests in regards to Black Friday for these black men that are being killed. I think that the Black Lives Matter movement should include all young men and women, young adults of color. I don't believe that brown lives matter really much to a lot of people sometimes, unless they need the votes. But these both these communities have reality at its throat. The white privilege and a lot of other situations have gone against people of color. But the idea that Black Friday is a day when you can go out in the community of white America on Black Friday and sort of, snatch stuff out of the hands of children, stampede doorways and walkways and malls, literally trampling one another for these trinkets of bullshit, for these objects, for these things, for this stuff. These people are not trampling over each other for peace in Gaza. These people are not trampling over each other for the end of homophobia. These people are not stampeding one another to stop killing our Syrian refugee brothers. This sort of hysterical, violent, approach at something, whether it's a Black Lives Matter member yelling at a rally, or everybody's just acting like they're on their way to the last feeding frenzy or galley for supper. It's a horrible scene. I've been watching some of the footage online. If you check YouTube or go to Twitter, it's just a constant materialistic bullshitter. The concept or the idea that I'm gonna injure another human being to get some sort of a thing. That I'm going to injure another human being to get some sort of a thing, and have sort of this Donald Trump, survival of the shittiest attitude toward objects. I'm learning how to love things and use people by watching this bullshit. See, I'm learning how to love stuff and treat my brother kind of rough. It's ridiculous to assume that materialistically in this country on Black Friday that somehow we're acting like the blacks or what? I don't understand. I'm sure there's a historical sort of merchandising history behind the phrase Black Friday, but the idea that we're all going to trample over each other and get this stuff just seems kind of rough, considering the state of the world today, the state of the state of southern, central, and South American countries, the state of government, and what's going on in Ukraine and Syria, and in the Gaza Strip. To believe or suggest that the height of one's the year that has gone by, the height of it materialistically is to sort of be a part of a riot act for these things that have very little to do with life facts. This stuff, these gifts, this need for something, the adrenaline, the endorphins, the bullshit, snatching this stuff out of these. I saw one. I keep mentioning it. The lady just snatched the shit out of the little girl. She couldn't have been no more than 4 or 5. She was walking with her mother, and some lady just ran up and just snatched the gift, and then Of course, the mom was trying to get the gift back, and then the lady started screaming, you're hurting me. It was like, bitch, you took that from my daughter. It just, I mean, when they opened the door, they all sort of trampled over the display. I used to work for the largest retail company in the country for 6 years. And we did have Black Friday, and I worked the graveyard shift, so we would set everything up then leave before the store would open. But, just looking at this video, it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? This sort of Donald Trump attitude, this, the longitude and the latitude of this sort of pretentious gratitude toward gifts and things and stuff and material objects that must be bought, right? We must buy this instead of free these people. We must grab this little Barbie doll, or I'm not going to mention any brands at all because they're not in the stores. The merchandise is, but we must have this little car, or this little game, or this little thing. We must have this stuff, these pots, these pans, these jackets, these trinkets, this jewelry, whatever. I must have that instead of pay equality for women, right? I must have that instead of policing these foster care facilities and adoptions ran by the government where kids are sleeping in offices. We must have this stuff rather than ending the war in Syria and trying to get the refugees and these displaced people somewhere to live instead of outside. We must have this false identity about who we think we are instead of dealing with the abuse of animals and stuff. We must have the fucking, the number one game or the number one trip to a false a materialistic game. We must have this thing. I must have this cooker or this jacket or this coat or this sock or this shoe or this anything from my boo. I must have something else other than a respect for human life. To trample over people to get a little pocket knife or whatever the item is on sale. I must have this materialistic hell. We must ignore Donald Trump and his racism and his steps backwards into time for these sociological crimes, right? We must have this inhumane, insane game of the fucking propaganda, false identity. Sham. This is who I am. We must ignore the abuse and the homelessness in Los Angeles and people trying to prepare with very small and little resources to deal with El Nino and these people sleeping out on the streets when those rains come. I must be full of shit. I must have the stuff. I must take this and snatch this out of your child's hand. This is a part of the humanity master plan. I must have these material objects. I must have this shit. I must have the fraudulent value of stuff rather than really helping people who got it rough, man. I must do it. I must trample you and get this thing because it's important, to the point where it's sad. See, there's a sadness in it, and people think it's funny. And it's ridiculous connected to the Wall Street money. It's ridiculous, and they show us the horse race of it all with these charts and stats of how much money is going into spending on plastic things that people paint and put fucking book and bullshit into. We must have this value of nothingness. We must do it. All the votes and money and propaganda into listening to this fucked up hair motherfucker, Donald Trump. I don't know. It's just sad. I'm going on a little longer. It's just sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's pathetic. It's sort of just weird. It's strange. We have pollution and all kinds of green. You know, we need to take a look at this sort of. I got mine granted, and you know, the Thunderdome. It's not Black Friday. What about Wacky Wednesday? Black Friday. It's Black Friday. It's Black Friday. So you get to be violent. It's Black Friday. So it's black. It's black. It's attack. It's black. It's black. It's attack. Get them. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. And it just it doesn't make any sense. You know, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And the only thing that makes sense nowadays is how I end every episode, if I can remember, by saying fuck Fox News.